it's very hard to overstate the importance of what is happening
Yeah,
today. Like this is on the level of El Chapo being
yeah,
brought to New York to face
exactly.
charges. We're at that level of an alleged criminal, someone who is a leader of a huge multinational crime gang, as we said.
One of the big news stories of the weekend, and certainly of the day, because it's a live and rolling story. This one, an Irish government jet has flown to Dubai for the extradition of the alleged gang boss Daniel Kinahan. Kinahan has long been a central figure in world boxing, helping to promote and organise some of the biggest fights in the sport's history. Here, for example, is a 2020 social media post from Tyson Fury thanking Kinahan for organising a fight with Anthony Joshua.
Hello there. I'm just after getting off the phone with Daniel Kinahan. He's just informed me that the biggest fight in British boxing history has just been agreed. Get up there, my boy! Big shout out, Dan. He got this done, literally over the line.
Right. So Kinahan is also alleged to be the leader of the notorious Kinahan crime group, an organised crime gang involved in international drug trafficking and firearms offences. We'll talk about this now with Philip Ryan, head of content at the Sunday Times Ireland. Philip, good afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
Good afternoon, Ryan.
Well, let's before we get into the meat and potatoes of the extradition, maybe give us a sense of who Daniel Kinahan is and what his alleged crimes are.
Yeah, Daniel Kinahan is the Dublin-born son of Christy Kinahan Senior, who himself has been before the courts in the past or for various drug offences, but that was a long, long time ago. Daniel, it has to be said at this juncture, has never been before the courts, and it'll be his first time before the Irish justice system to later this evening when he does finally arrive here. He's in the news and he's a big deal because he is alleged to be an international crime figure involved in, as you said, trafficking drugs, trafficking arms, and to be tied in with various organizations ranging from South American crime gangs, Mexican crime gangs, and then all the way across the Atlantic to the likes of Hezbollah and Hamas and these type of groups to provide them weapons. There's even the reporting in the Sunday Times has shown his links to Iran even and fuel smuggling throughout, even as we are in the middle of this fuel crisis. The Kinahans have alleged to be involved in trafficking oil around the globe, even though it's such a high commodity at the moment. And he is in Dubai because people mightn't realize, but around 2016, there was a very high profile attack on his life in a Dublin hotel called the Regency Hotel at the time. He was, at the time, involved in a boxing weigh-in. Like you said, he was this was the world he was trying to ingratiate himself into at the time. This was a lower level fight in Ireland, but he was there at the weigh-in with some of his associates. Men dressed as our own police force of An Garda Síochána stormed the building and started shooting indiscriminately at people, including Daniel, who was believed to be the main target at the time. One of his associates, Liam Byrne, was actually killed during this raid, during this attack. And what followed was one of the most astonishing gangland feuds in Irish history, with at least 18 people killed over the space of a year and a little bit beyond, mostly in Dublin, sometimes on the outskirts. And all of them were linked in some way to Gerard the Monk Hutch, who is the leader or the alleged leader, let's say, of another crime gang here in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then after that, because of the intensity of the Garda investigation, naturally around controlling the feud and controlling the like trying to bring an end to it, essentially, Daniel and some of his associates, his father and his other brother, Christy Kinahan Jr., fled to Dubai, where they have remained essentially yes, until now.
Yeah, you mentioned the monk just as a subplot, as you well know, Philip. The monk, of course, has not just once but twice very nearly taken a seat in the Irish National Parliament, but that's a story for another day. Yeah. Watching this story unfold, I mean, the Times obviously had a huge part in moving the story along, if you will. It feels like we are watching the live streaming arraignment of a prisoner from one jurisdiction to another. I mean, as we watch Rolling News Live now, we know that Daniel Kinahan is in the skies above us, due to land in Ireland at about 7 o'clock local time. I mean, it is an extraordinary interest in this case, and the security around it is extraordinary too, because it would appear that there are as many people want to try and spring him as want to kill him, arguably.
Yeah, like it's very hard to overstate the importance of what is happening
Yeah,
today. Like this is on the level of El Chapo being
yeah,
brought to New York to face
exactly.
charges. We're at that level of an alleged criminal, someone who is a leader of a huge multinational crime gang, as we said. I checked just before we came on air here.
Yeah,
Daniel was the government jet. You can track it, on with these online apps, and he's currently just over the Red Sea, flying towards Cairo direction.
right.
So he's made a decent amount of his journey. I think he set off 11ish this morning from Dubai, and like you say, expected around 6 7 in Ireland. There's a huge. I actually took the dog for a walk this morning because I live beside the CCJ, and there was already the CCJ. Sorry, is the
Yeah.
Criminal Court of Justice here in Ireland, and there was already Gardaí there patrolling, getting ready for his return. The logistics of it will be he will land in Casement Aerodrome, which is a military airbase just on the outskirts of Dublin.
Yeah.
And then there's a 15-20 minute drive where he had a huge armed convoy will bring him to the Central Criminal Courts, where he will, for the first time, stand before an Irish judge and hear the allegations that are to be made against him, and which in time he will either plead guilty to, or he will have to sit through a lengthy trial
With no jury.
with no jury, because yes, he will be tried before a special criminal court, which is a court system in Ireland which was introduced to deal with mostly the fallout from the Troubles in Northern Ireland, where it was feared that juries could be interfered with or threatened because of by dissident Republicans and indeed provisional IRA Republicans. And the Irish court system used that same system to this day to still deal with dissident Republicans and terrorists of all description, but also with serious criminals. And we've seen in only a couple of weeks ago, one of Daniel Kinahan's key associates, Sean McGovern, was before the Special Criminal Court himself. Now, because of the weight of the evidence against him, mostly it's compiled from these secret text message chat things, Enco chat they call it, or PGP, which is an underground network for criminals to contact each other. They have them all talking to each other. So Sean McGovern pleaded guilty. He's doing 20 odd years now in Portlaoise prison. And the same sort of scenario is going to be put before Daniel Kinahan. And a lot of the Garda evidence will again be based on these messages and claims that the messages show that Daniel and others were involved in this gangland feud, which led to so many deaths.
So by 9 o'clock or thereabouts this evening, Daniel Kinahan will be far removed from the lifestyle he has become accustomed to in Dubai. Give us a quick flavour of his lodgings tonight.
Yeah, certainly. So he'll be in Portlaoise prison, which is the maximum security prison in Ireland, the key one where the members of serious criminal gangs, and again, dissident Republicans and terrorists are held. He is going to be very much segregated from the rest of the prison. And mostly, I think you pointed to it earlier as well, this fear that he is the target for a lot of people. If he is alleged to have done what he has done, he has upset an awful lot of people in the world of criminality, whether they be the victims and the families of the victims, and or his own associates who thought that maybe this feud brought on them too much unwanted attention. And then on the other aspect of all this, given the global nature of his or alleged organization, that he has all this information around dealing with crime gangs in Mexico, dealing with the Iranian regime, dealing with their proxies, whether it be Hamas or Hezbollah. He has a lot of information himself, which could be valuable beyond belief to various governments or regimes around the world, which were to turn, then he is very dangerous to those regimes as well.
Of course, fascinating story. Thank you so much for that insight. Philip Ryan is head of content at the Sunday Times Ireland and told us exactly what we needed to know for now. But as I say, it's a rolling story and you'll be reading all about it in your Times tomorrow and indeed tonight. So be sure to keep an eye on the app and the actual paper itself.